listening to the Armchair Ninja podcast. Here is your host, Rich.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja podcast. It is Friday, February 12th, 2016. My name is Rich, and with me once again is Bijan. How are you making out this week?
What up, man? I'm feeling good. I'm fully healed from the Super Spartan. Now I'm on to training for the half marathon in 3 weeks, so no breaks here, man.
Yeah, it's training season, right? So you're hard at it. So you took a little bit of time to recover from the Spartan, didn't you?
Well, I took a week, but yeah, that week was amazing because my knee and my hip were a hot mess, dude. It was bad. That was a tough one, but I got through it. I completed the course in really good time, and yeah, onto the half marathon, and then I'm completing the trifecta with the Spartan Beast in August. So no rest for the wicked, man.
Nice. And you said Rose Wetzel was at the that Spartan too?
Yeah. She competed in the elite wave, and I believe she placed second. Anybody can correct me if they just go to the standings for the SoCal Super Spartan, but I believe she placed second. She did really well.
Cool. So a little crossover there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of make me feel bad because I spend, 20, 30 minutes on a treadmill and you're doing these super Spartans and like, I'm taking it easy today. I'll do 2 hours on the treadmill just to kind of relax a bit.
Hey man, fitness is all relative. As long as you're exercising, getting that sweat in, I encourage anybody. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do crazy athletic feats. As long as you're getting your own exercise, I gotta give it up to you.
All right, so moving on to the actual show. So we had another episode of Team Ninja Warrior. Man, I love this show. Just awesome. Great break. Great way to break up the time between seasons of American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, man, and this episode was interesting. For anybody that's a fan of wrestling, we got kind of like some squash matches in this particular episode. We got there was one team or two teams that were, even though they were good, they were definitely a level underneath the other two teams. And this episode really stood out in some particular aspects.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it here. Let's take a look at the, first of all, actually, so the flying shelf grab, the new obstacle that they swapped in, I was pretty happy with it. I like that one. I think it was better than most.
Yeah, it's probably my second favorite obstacle from the season. Definitely a step up from last episode. I really liked how they had that bar at the end, right? That was like in the middle. So not only did they have to connect on this singular bar where they're like banging into each other and everything, it also leads that aspect where you kind of have to swing diagonally from the bar before it to the bar, and it really slowed some people down. There was a lot of technique and speed differentials presented in this particular obstacle. I really liked it, man.
Yeah, the only thing I would have liked to see, and I don't know, maybe it was against the rules, is have one of them just shift to the middle when they hit it, right? Forget about swinging on the side and giving the other person room. Just take over that bar and hold the other people back.
For real. That'd be awesome, man. Like, if I was doing it, just, like, have the biggest wingspan on the planet, right? Just be like, yo, you gotta wait, or you're gonna be in trouble. That'd be awesome. But, like, I understand. People don't want to be, the bad guy on this show, but that would have been so amazing.
All right, so the first run we had JJ Woods versus Brandon Bear. Oh, sorry, let's go through the teams. We had Team Ronin. That's Flip Rodriguez's team. Karsonic Boom. That's Carson Voil's team. Think Tank with Noah Kaufman, and Wild Bunch with Lance Pekas. Pretty good mix. A few fan favorites in there. Friend of the podcast, Noah Kaufman. I was really happy to see him on the show finally, so we can see how he made out.
Yeah, and my initial pick to win the whole show.
That's right. Team Ronin was your original choice. So, so a lot of people we wanted to see, so let's go through them. We've got JJ Woods versus Brandon Barrett in the first run. JJ goes ahead off the bat, and Brandon starts running really reckless.
You could say that again, man.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like you said, once again, we get to watch the episode together, so I'm going to try not to steal some of your comments, but you pointed out how JJ was taking his time and being almost a little too slow, and Brandon was doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, it was interesting. JJ, I feel like a comment that really stood out later on in the episode was Flip saying that he wanted to try out the course and get a feel for it. And I question if he wanted both of his teammates to also do that, because during his entire team's initial runs, they were going very, very conservatively. They were running way too slow. But I understand why. It worked out for them in the end, but they were going way slower than what most people would expect from them. And JJ, this one really stood out. But lucky for him, his competitor was going way too reckless, to the point where technique was kind of like just thrown out the window. It's like, let me just throw my body into like what this rope and see what happens, you know?
Yeah, so they made it to the wall, but they missed it. JJ managed to get it on the third attempt, but it was looking like we might have had the first two guys fail to make it up the wall.
Yeah. I feel like both of them were just really winded at that point. Once again, I'm so happy the warped wall is part of this whole show.
Yeah, this time they did mention that it was dusty, and that did play a factor in a lot of people having troubles with it. So I think it's hard to tell from the watching it, some of the challenges they're facing on the course, right? When things are wet and slippery, or when things are dry and slippery in this case. So
yeah, that's a good point. And definitely, as somebody that's tried the warped wall, if it's slippery or, dusty and you lose traction, that makes a huge difference, because traction, especially foot traction, makes all the world difference for the warped wall.
Okay, and from there we had Tiana Weberly versus Beth Higginbotham. And Beth ended up going down on the log grip. She was just using the other grip she pointed out. I probably would have missed that, and I didn't hear the commentators comment on it either. So yeah. Can you kind of describe, I guess, as you're telling me, the higher grips and what effect that has? Yeah,
so she was definitely using, I wouldn't see improper technique, but for her body build, it's the wrong technique. She's using, anybody that sees the log grip, there's two different sets of grips. There's a lower one that's a little spread out more to the sides, and there's one further in that's way higher, and she used the higher grips. These higher grips are made for people that are taller and have much longer arms, and her body build, she's a shorter person with smaller arms. The grips on the sides are made for usually women because of this. Basically, to give the best example is, imagine gripping completely around, say, I don't know, a barrel, and you have no give whatsoever, and then somebody just grabs that barrel and yanks it upwards. You're gonna lose grip because you have no give in your arms. You have no bending or anything. Your arms are completely extended around this entire log. And that's what she did. If you watch it back, you see her competitor, Tiana, using the other sets of pegs that are a little bit lower. And she has gives where the drop happens on the log grip. Her arms can bend, and she can brace the impact with both her elbows and her legs wrapped around it. Whereas, what's her name?
Beth,
yeah. Beth, she has no gives. Her arms are completely wrapped around, so as soon as that drops, she has nothing to take the impact of the force other than her fingertips, and she instantly loses grip. And not just that, we'll see it later on in the episode, but another aspect of this technique is, because you're choked up so highly on it, and you're kind of using all your weight downwards on it, you don't get enough swing forwards. It's kind of like how we said during the USA versus the World special, where the trampoline, it brought them completely upwards rather than forward. This technique only brings the person downwards rather than forwards. So it's kind of like an adherence to that as well. This technique works really well for somebody with long arms, but it's not going to do well if you're shorter and you don't have any give whatsoever.
Cool. From there, we get to see Flip Rodriguez versus Carson Voiles, the captain run. And Flip, again, with no mask. I guess the mask is gone for good by the looks of it.
Yeah. I remember he said that he kind of matured out of it, that the mask kind of subdued. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think it was more of his insecurities. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but I believe it was more of his insecurities or his childhood emotions, because he had a rough childhood growing up, and he kind of used that mask to kind of hide behind it, or not hide behind it, but, put a mask over it where he can basically face the wall and face off his insecurities, kind of like a superhero. So I feel like I remember about a season or two ago, he said he's matured out of the mask. I don't know if we're ever going to see the mask again.
Yeah, this past season was the last. He took it off very symbolically at the beginning of the course, and maybe it's just not going to come back.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, if that's what it was representing and he doesn't need it anymore, that's great. More power to him. So it was really surprising, this run. This is probably the shocking run of the night, where Carson just blows through the course and beat him.
Yeah, damn. Like, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah, we were both kind of like, I recognized the name, but didn't really get a sense of who Carson was until this. Now I'm going to remember him for sure as the guy who totally blew past Flip Rodriguez on the first run through.
Yeah, this is what I love about this show, that it really accentuates some of the lower name, or the names that we just initially don't. We kind of know them. Like that guy kind of looks familiar, but you don't know him like the namesake of like a Flip Rodriguez, And it's really cool seeing these matchups, because it really just shows the level of speed if somebody has. Obviously, it's not going to show complete technique, because American Ninja Warrior in terms of difficulty is a little bit higher, but it's really impressive that he can say, hey, I beat Flip Rodriguez in a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure there's not many people who can say that.
Nope.
Yeah, so second attempt, the tiebreaker run. Oh my God, I love this run. So Flip basically, almost like we had with Drew Dreschel in the USA versus World. You want to see how fast I can go? So flips on the afterburners, and they went back and forth, shoulder to shoulder. Carson still maintained his own, still kind of had a little leg up on him, but Flip got up the wall faster than him. Yeah.
I feel like Flip knew. I feel like Flip wasn't going as fast as he can. As he said, he kind of went way too conservatively on this initial on the first run, and on the second run, he kind of kicked it up into high gear.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch. Absolutely loved it. So that meant that
but hang on, man.
Go ahead.
Just a complete shout out. Flip Rodriguez's emotion during the second run, he was like complete beast mode. Like, he was so focused, and you could just see it on his face. He was like, yeah, I got this. Like, I love seeing that emotion, man. Like, it really meant a lot to him, So that was just cool to see.
Yeah, he is always so emotional. You can see he just brings everything to the course with him, and he just lays it all out. So, love watching Flip. That's why he's so engaging to watch, because you can see how passionate he is about the whole sport.
Exactly, man. It's like, it's one thing to see somebody just run a course really well. It's another thing to just see their emotions in their face and everything. I think that's another reason why I love Jeff Britton's first initial run on stage 3, because you can see the anguish in his face while he's doing that last final obstacle.
Yeah. So moving on from there, we had the we had the Think Tank versus the Wild Bunch. So right off the bat, we have Matt Wilder versus Ben Mielek, the Tarzan guy. Seems like we have a couple Tarzans. Am I the only guy that, like, how many Tarzans do we have?
I'm not sure. I can understand why a lot of these people are training on ropes, and it's like, well, I'll be Tarzan, My opinion, you got to earn that name.
Yeah, I think Ben might have lost it here on the first obstacle. Unfortunately, just made a slip up. Trying to go too fast. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah, had a problem on the first obstacle. Ironically, a rope obstacle, and ended up going out.
Instead of jumping forwards into the rope, he jumped completely upwards, and he got way too high up on the rope, where he basically had no swing. That's what happened.
Oh, good to know. It's not fair. You're watching this as we're talking. That's not fair.
Makes life easier, man. So basically, he went too high, and then to correct himself, he got lower, like on a second swing back, but he went way too low, hit the water, and it basically just like broke any momentum he had.
Okay, so then after that, bit of surprise, we get to see Rose Wetzel versus Aisha Grechka.
She had the Spartan helmet and the Spartan pole thing from the Spartan race. That was quite amazing.
Yeah, play it up, right? It's the more showmanship you have, the better chance you have of being on the show again. So play it up.
Yeah, and that helmet was no joke either. That was like a really cool looking helmet. Props to her.
So we get to see, man, oh man, Aisha was really impressive. She,
yeah,
they're running along, and she ends up bumping Rose out on the dancing stones. What are your favorite obstacle and your favorite moments is that middle stone.
Dude, she straight up was like, because she was on the stone first, and Rose kind of like made a jump forward, but Aisha, she had her arm out, and she was like, nope. It was straight up like a football like block, like a facepalm block. It was awesome. Yeah. I gotta give props to Aisha. Just in general, that alone really made me just fall in love with her. But also, knowing her profile when we were previewing her, she shows a lot of potential in future competitions if she commits to a lot of training on these obstacles. I think her athletic attributes will really do well for her in future ninja competitions.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Team Ninja and having the kind of the spotlight on her will help with that. Maybe she'll focus her attention on. I mean, she's trying to complete.
Stay in school though, right?
Yeah. She's kind of busy in school right now, but she's got a. I'm hoping, if I remember correctly, it's the climbing that she's focused on. I think probably more so than ninja.
She's one of the best climbers in Europe. Well, that's another question that's interesting because she comes from France and she's one of the top rock climbers in Europe. And we were talking last week about how these people from Team Europe in the competition, in the special or whatever, they couldn't compete in American Ninja Warrior. So I wonder if she'll be eligible to compete in American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I wonder why anybody didn't bring in Tim Sheaf or get some ringers in this show, right?
Better believe I'd have, if I was on Team Cap, I'd be like, hey, Tim, you want to come run on this team?
Yeah, it's not American Ninja Warrior, it's Team Ninja Warrior. You're perfectly okay. Come join us.
Exactly.
So from there, we get to see Noah versus Lance Picas. So I don't know, man. I know you kind of leaned towards Noah in this run, and I really thought Lance had it. I've been really impressed with Lance. He did really well this past season, and Noah's admittedly has admitted to being kind of slow and methodical through the course. So I thought for sure Lance had him, but he didn't.
Yeah, Noah's a little bit more methodical, and Lance really impressed me because when you look at his build, people with that build traditionally don't go as fast as he does. So he really, really surprised me, and he did very well. So big shout out to him. It's more of all that muscle mass will really wear you down when it comes to cardiovascular endurance. And it showed during the warped wall where the toughest part where it's going to just test your cardio to the max is going to be the warped wall and how well you can kind of refresh your legs and your heart and, get that last boost of adrenaline up that warped wall. And I feel like Noah was a little bit more methodical and strategic in taking a breather, waiting it out, whereas Lance was trying a little too hard to push it.
Okay. So from there, and this seems to confirm what we've been suspecting. I don't see any other explanation for this. So they just compete, and Lance has to go again right off the bat versus Flip Rodriguez. It has to be that the winner chooses who runs in the next round, and they must have to match up the way they originally would have. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was going to say captain versus captain, but that's not true because of Jessie, right? Because she was the only female captain. So
yeah, but it makes sense completely. I mean, if you're the winning team, you have to have some type of strategic, leg up on the other team, and you can basically choose which member of your team is going to go first. And then it's kind of up to the other team to be like, well, who's going to go up against that? So for, say, Flip Rodriguez, I'm sure he's like, well, I'll go first. I'm the team captain. So the other team naturally will probably have to bring up their team captain, even though it will really suck for Lance. It's a good move on their part.
Yeah, I mean, if they can choose, though, to me, I wouldn't put my captain. I mean, if I was a captain,
I wouldn't either, but I'm sure Lance felt like he had to.
But you'd be better off. So Lance would be better off waiting, to me, for the third round, for the 2-point round, and going up against, JJ. Having a better chance against JJ than Flip for the 2 points.
Yeah, that's a good point because, I love JJ, but I feel like Lance would take JJ.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess, if this keeps happening, I guess we'll know, or unless just no one opted for it, but I would think someone would choose to do that. Yep. So anyway, Lance versus Flip. Lance almost fell on the Dancing Stones. Flip made it up the wall first. Just flat out beat him, I guess.
Yeah, not much to say about that one. It's pretty clear cut.
Yeah. And then we get to see Rose Wetzel versus Tiana Weberly. And, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. I've said it in the last few podcasts. I just wanted to see another woman up the warped wall, and we got it. Tiana did it. She made it up the wall. It was amazing. I loved it. Great run.
Yeah, she really impressed me a lot. It was almost a complete blowout. Rose Wetzel is very athletic, but it's very much clear that American obstacle course racing is definitely second priority to her over Spartan racing, which, is fine for her. That's her sport. Tiana, so incredibly impressive. She shows, in my opinion, probably the most promise out of all the women we've seen on this show so far. I feel like she's going to do very, very well because you can see she's super athletic and she's doing the training that you need to for obstacle course racing. And I forgot how tall she is, but I remember them saying she's definitely on the shorter side, less than maybe 5'3" or shorter.
I think this is 5'3", yeah.
5'3", okay. And yeah, she got up that wall like she's been doing it before, and that's really impressive. And she's joining a very small group of women, and very impressive women that have done the warped wall, so that's a huge accolade for her.
Yeah, I'm wondering how it's going to fit into American Ninja Warrior. I hadn't thought of it till just now, actually. So
they've got to hype her up like huge, right?
Yeah, do they acknowledge that? Do they consider it part of the, I don't know, what do you want to say, the canon? They only go back so far, right? So there's been a few cases where they don't consider, American Ninja Challenge, for example, for accolades. I'm thinking Team Ninja, even though it's a different network, I'm thinking Team Ninja Warrior, they're going to call her the fifth woman up the warped wall now.
Yeah, I mean, they're both the sister networks. I mean, they're owned by NBC, and it'd go hand in hand. Plus, it'd give like a kind of shout out to the show, and they already have the rights and clips to the whole run, so I don't see why they wouldn't. And not just that, I mean, she's joining. Here are the names that she's joining for that of women that have done the warped wall: Casey Catanzaro, Michelle Warnke, Megan Martin, and Jessie Graff. So why would you not give a shout out and say, check this woman out. She did something that a small amount of women were at very high level have done. I mean, it would just boost her name recognition up that much more.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do. So I'm pretty sure they will. We'll see. I'm pretty sure they'll feature on the show because of this now, though. This is pretty much like she's a shoo-in to be featured on the show now.
Oh, yeah. And even if not, I'm pretty confident that she's going to do it again.
Yeah. She did so well this episode. So, and coincidentally enough, she just followed us on Twitter today. I had seen her name pop up earlier, and I thought, geez, I know that. Oh, wait, she's on. She's on Flip's team. So that was kind of cool.
Oh well, shout out to you.
Yeah. So from there we had JJ versus Ben, and JJ killed it, man. He just made it right through, made it up the wall on the first go.
Man,
he just fixed everything that went wrong earlier. He did a great job.
Yeah, complete 180 from his first run. It was great. This was the JJ I was expecting. He went fast. He was very mature in his approach to the course. He did them well, but he wasn't reckless in the run. Just all around A+, man.
So with that, the Team Ronin went on to the finals. So then we just had to see who was going with them. So with Think Tank versus, that's hard, Karsonic Boom, we've got Matt versus Brandon. And Matt won it, but they fast forwarded the run. It was kind of surprising to have them to skip a run. They'd only done it one other time so far. It's hard to complain though, because these episodes are really packed. They do not have a lot of fat on them to trim. So I guess they just didn't have the time to show it all.
Yeah, the episodes go at a very good pace, and I expect the reason they cut them out is because maybe there's just not much to say about the particular runs. Maybe it was just too clear cut or not very close. So there's got to be some reasoning why, and I can't complain because everything I've seen so far works completely well with the tone of and speed of the whole episodes.
Yeah, so from there we had Aisha versus Beth, and Aisha got to the wall faster, but both of them couldn't make it up, unfortunately. So Aisha got close, but she just didn't quite make it. She's almost the sixth one, but we just didn't get there.
Yeah, Aisha did well, but she was definitely showing her inexperience in this particular run and later on. As I said, she has potential, but she's not there yet in terms of... I don't know how well she's going to do on regular American Ninja Warrior. I think she needs some more obstacle course training.
Yeah, fortunately, this was filmed a few months back, and there's, she will have some time, so I'm hoping that that we'll get it, and we'll see how she can do.
Yeah.
And from there, we ended up with Noah versus Carson. And, man, they fast-forwarded. I don't understand why they fast-forwarded two from the same batch. This is what kind of got me.
Not just the fast forward, it was so quick. I mean, I didn't even realize when it happened. I had to we had to rewind and be like, what just happened? Like, did we miss something? Like, it was a very short clip of what happened in the run.
Yeah, because we were just talking for a second and all of a sudden, like, wait, what do you mean that's the tiebreaker round? We didn't even see the captain's run.
Yeah. Man, they're fast with it.
Yeah, so I guess Noah got hung up on the cargo net, and Carson ended up beating him. So from there, it was the tiebreaker, and so Carson went up again, as in most cases the captain opts to do.
Yeah, but he was clearly so winded. I mean, you just look at him at the start line, and the dude is like completely out of breath, and I don't know what he was thinking. I understand why, because he's a team captain, he wants to represent his team. I understand that aspect. But if you're in this shape where you are clearly winded, and this would be his fourth run of the day, and he just ran, just give some confidence into the other guy on your team, let him run it, take your odds, because I'm pretty sure his teammate's going to at least have a better chance than him at that point. If he was completely fine, if he had some chance to get a refresher, get the blood out, just all the lactic acid out of his muscles and calm down his heart, maybe he'd do fine. But man, he had a real tough task against him. Yeah,
he did. I mean, again, hindsight's 2020, so he probably expected to go up against Noah, but they put Matt up there, which was a great decision, obviously. Matt skipping the first bar. That was impressive. We didn't see anybody else do that through the episode.
Yeah, big out to Matt also. He was quite impressive this entire episode. He was doing some really cool stuff, and maybe I just haven't seen enough of him, or maybe didn't notice the name enough, but that guy was kind of raising my eyebrow. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have to remember him. Yeah,
so with that, we ended up with Think Tank versus Team Ronin in the finals. So that was pretty cool.
Oh man, I was so ready for this matchup. I was so ready.
So they went with the standard that we've seen the women go first, the other guys, I guess, if you want to call them that, go second, and then the captains go third. So we had Aisha versus Tiana, which was, we were pretty excited for because they had both looked really good through the episode.
Yeah, good young upstarts.
Yeah, and but Aisha got a really bad push, as we detailed earlier on the log graph. Even worse, it seemed like she didn't push so much. She just kind of hung on the thing and had to go back and push again.
Yeah, she basically just wrapped her legs around it, didn't push at all. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Which would be easy to do when you're rushing, obviously. So it's,
Yeah.
So from there, that gave them a pretty sizable lead. JJ versus Matt. JJ just had kind of a big lead going up the wall. Tags in
flew
Flip.
through it too.
Yeah, and he did really well. So Flip got tagged in earlier than Noah and started up the salmon ladder. But, I mean, Noah got on the salmon ladder just as he was coming off of it and just couldn't make up the difference. They just basically, Flip just, kept the lead and made it up faster.
Yeah, I mean, Noah's only hope at that point was for somebody to, on Flip's team to make some type of mistake, and it just never happened. Flip's team ran basically a flawless relay. So I got to give it up to Noah. He did close the gap a little bit, but it was way too much to make up, man. Yeah,
not much you can do about that. So overall, good episode. We ended with Team Ronin moving on to the finals.
Yeah, this episode stood out for me more of just seeing potential up-and-comers, kind of just showing what they've got, There are definitely some people that really impressed me on this episode, Matt Wilder, Tiana Weberly, Grechka, Asha Grechka. They definitely stood out to me. They were quite impressive this episode. So that's the one thing that definitely stood out to me more than maybe the runs themselves.
Okay, so with a little bit of speculation here and a little bit of news, I think we know which teams are going to be competing next week. We've got Team Britons, Team Electrics, Team Lab Rats, and this is the one we're kind of guessing a little bit on, but we're pretty sure it's going to be Team Iron Grip. So that's Jeff Britton's team, Elliot Hall, Sam San, and Brian Wolczewski.
Those are some really high caliber teams right there.
Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, this whole competition, front to back, beginning to end, is full of high caliber teams, I guess. But man, oh man,
I know my pick though.
You do know your pick? Let me guess.
Oh yeah, I got to go with Team Britons, man, because even the question mark of Jessica Britton, we've seen videos of her training, and she's very high level athlete as well in her obstacle course training. And I feel like that team specializes in obstacle course training, where I got to give them the leg up.
Okay. Just to be a little different, and I think they're a solid team and definitely have a shot, I gotta think the Lab Rats are a good, strong team, man. They're so solid all around that they're gonna be hard to beat. Yeah,
I feel you, man. I mean, they're a really good team.
All right, so we got our picks in for the week. Let's see how that goes. And then Team Electrics will come out of nowhere and just destroy us, but we'll see.
That never happens.
Yeah.
We're always so great at picking the teams, right?
I feel like I just cursed the Lab Rats, but I guess it's already filmed, so I can't do much harm at this point.
Yeah.
So our video of the week this week is going to be a video from Sean Evans, where he competes against Casey Catanzaro. Now, Sean seems like he has a regular web series going on. It's very professionally put together video. We usually try to pick more amateur videos, but this one was pretty entertaining. Kind of showed a perspective that I've always kind of wondered, I guess. So if you take your average Joe, not an average Joe from the show, but just an actual average guy, and put him up against these competitors and see how they do. You get to see Sean Evans versus Casey Catanzaro, and it goes about as well as you'd expect it to go.
Yeah, it's quite fun watching it. He kind of makes the most of just the entertaining aspects of, these obstacles are a lot more difficult than they might look, but it also accentuated just how fun obstacle course racing can be. And man, shout out to the gym. What is it?
It's Alpha Warrior. It's
Alpha Warrior, yeah.
Yeah, it's Brent and Casey's gym.
Damn, that gym looks so fun. I just want to go over there and be like a little kid and just try all these different things. It looks so fun. So big shout out to that. Anybody that lives in that area that's, can go to the Alpha Warrior gym, I definitely try it out.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, and they were really personable. Of course, they always are, but it was interesting to watch. I like the video. We'll share it out. I should check it out. It's a pretty cute little video.
Yeah, and, Brandon and Casey, they're really great representatives of the sport in general. I'm really glad that, they're there kind of to be the faces of Ninja Warrior in general, because they are so personable in front of the camera, and I don't know. I really like that they're there to represent this sport and make it look really like a really good thing.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job of that. So, from there, we don't have a National Ninja League video to go over this week, but I did want to point out, actually the championship is coming up. So in a couple of weeks, on February 27th and 28th, they'll be competing in the final championship of the season at Movement Lab in Hainesport, New Jersey. You get a chance to meet all the top ninjas. Like, there's a lot of big names that'll be there. So if you're in the area, you'd be crazy not to go. If you're a fan of the show, you should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and there better be some detailed full-length runs in when they post up the video of, the finals, because I don't know. I don't want to see some gloss overs for the women competitors. These are the finals. I want to see a full-length video of, like, the top 3 runs for the females and the men, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see the top 5, 10. I mean, oh my God, this is going to be so many. We've learned so many of these names. They've been competing over and over again at these different gyms. So ones that we're not familiar with from American Ninja Warrior, we've learned from these weekly videos from National Ninja League. So I really want to see how they can stack up in the end.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. You hear that, Chesky? Don't mess this up, or I'm coming for you.
All right. So remember, if you're looking to buy some quality and affordable climbing holds, come by ninjapodcast.com. Use our link to go to Atomic Climbing Holds and use the discount code of podcast to save 10%. And while you're at it, swing by iTunes, give us a rating and a review, send us an email, let us know what you think of the show. That's rich@ninjapodcast.com. And we are also on Facebook and Twitter. That's @ninjapodcast. So thank you all for joining us once again, and I hope you have a great week.
Happy V-Day, everybody.
A special thanks to Kathleen Martin for the song Player v Player Remastered from Bandcamp.com.
Thank you all for listening and have a lovely day.